Oh yeah, there they are. I guess
not.
I kind of.
I thought they were married as well.
No. I mean, that's the whole thing of the beginning.
Yeah.
Liz, that's her name, right? Liz is like, leave me, like, I don't think we can make something out of this. And Dennis is like, but we just did it.
In my world, they say he caught feelings.
All right, welcome everybody to the Comic Panel, your Fairbanks radio show for all things comics. I'm Cody.
I'm Taylon.
I'm Jacob.
And I'm Shawenta.
And today we're going to be talking about Saga of the Swamp Thing by Alan Moore and illustrated by Stephen Bissetti and John Tolfrin. Am I getting that right? Probably. Yeah, and this is part of our October horror themed spooky collection of books. If you're new to the show, our show is basically we read a comic each week and discuss it, and occasionally we talk about news and other things related to comic book media. Yeah, this week I chose Swamp Thing. It's one of on the top list of a lot of comic book favorites lists, especially for American comic book horror and stuff like that. Written by Alan Moore, who's very prolific in the American comics scene. And I've always just wanted to read it. I tried reading it once in a collected edition. I think it was a slightly different one than the one that we read this time, because I think that it had the issue right before Alan Moore joined. So it was like issue 19 instead of issue 20. And so basically it was hard. It was really hard to read the first issue, so I didn't finish it. But yeah, so that's basically that is why I chose the book. And yeah, so what do you guys think? Just in general, we'll get into the meat of it in a little bit, but
I thought it was good.
I liked all the stuff with that had Swamp Thing in it, but the side characters other than Jason Woodrue kind of fell flat for me, because I don't know who any of them are.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of dysfunctional couples wandering throughout the story.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, I would say that there's probably only a handful of basically the story is only about Swamp Thing, AKA Alec Holland, but not. And then Abigail Cable. First her name was Abigail Arcane, but she gets married, so Abigail Cable, and Matthew Cable. I think that those are only and then there are some side characters mostly is after that. But
there's the couple in the beginning, and they don't show up again. That really.
Oh, yeah. Is that right?
Dennis and Liz Tremaine.
Oh, I guess I didn't really remember them very much.
Oh, okay. Dennis Barkley.
Yeah, there they are. I guess I kind of.
I thought they were married as well.
No. I mean, that's the whole thing in the beginning.
Yeah.
Liz, that's her name, right? Liz is like, leave me. Like, I don't think we can make something out of this. And Dennis is like, but we just did it.
In my world, they say he caught feelings.
Yeah, oh wow, I'm surprised that they just don't show up again. I'm like, who are those people?
You go.
Sorry, what were you gonna say? Oh, I was gonna say I mixed them up for Abigail and Cable. Abigail and Matthew Cable.
Well, that's like, yeah, they show up first, and then Abigail, and then I'm like, wow, another dysfunctional couple,
Yeah.
which is where like start to pick up.
Well, they show up again, like I think issue 2, where they go to the hotel.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's really weird.
Liz Tremaine was so I kept comparing this to the DC Universe show because that's the only other Swamp Thing that I know of. And so I was like, Liz Tremaine was much more involved in that show than in this comic. But there's actually quite a few like small differences that make it kind of weird to watch the show and then read the comic. But like, ironically, or not ironically, but like different than sometimes there's some people would say, I read the book and then watched the movie, or watched the movie and then read the book, but ruined one of the other things. For me, it's like I watched the TV show and watched the book, and I love them both. So I'm like,
oh really? I before I read this, I tried to watch the TV show, and like it didn't work for me at all.
Oh, okay.
You know, and I really wanted to like it too, but it was just like not that interesting. And I think that's because like maybe I should have given it more than an episode chance, but I feel like the pilot episode was really long too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
like,
that's
they
a
didn't
weird
even
thing.
introduce Swamp Thing, in the first episode. Like I think he appears at the very end, but that's not an introduction. That's like a cameo.
well, I mean, they introduced Alec Holland.
Yeah, I guess so.
But then again, Swamp Thing isn't Alec
Yes.
Holland, so.
I mean, he kinda is.
Right.
I guess it depends on like how you define consciousness. Sometimes
It feels very much like the cyberpunk thing where like I have an artificial body now. Am I really me? And then like they grapple with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, after some quick Googling, I discovered why there might be so many dysfunctional couples. This seems to have been published at the same time towards the end of Alan Moore's first marriage. So maybe that's got something to do with it.
Perhaps. I'm reading
Potentially.
a book right now about writers and how they like put themselves in their writing. And the one lady said this really memorable quote of like, pretty much all your work is autobiographical. Just some people are better at hiding it. I was like, oh, that's true.
Oh man, I didn't know you were
That's
supposed
funny.
to hide it.
Well, I mean, not
Self-insert here
necessarily.
everywhere.
Yeah, also going back to the original couple, sorry, I really am not going to be able to remember their name. I think that they Yeah, okay, what happens to them? I'm so confused right now cuz it looks like their hotel room explodes, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but they're not in it.
Yeah.
because that one dude who I thought was like an FBI agent, he's like, "I'll take that key for you,
Yeah.
ma'am."
Yeah.
Just like what?
I guess the 80s were just like that. People were just able to steal your hotel key from you.
It's like a motel in the middle of a swamp or whatever, and this dude just like strolls in. Like, I really don't feel like there's that many people staying there.
No, that's what we call chivalrous. Yeah.
He's just taking her property. That's not very chivalrous.
Well, no, you walked
totally
into an
understand.
exploding building for her.
He didn't know it was going to
He walked into a
explode.
bomb.
He doesn't get the credit for that.
Okay, like, no, I totally understand what he's trying to do. I still think it's stupid, but I don't understand where he came from. He's just like, just came out of nowhere.
Like-
He walked into the room and was like, "Oh, I'll take that kid."
Unless you are employed by the hotel, I don't want you to, like, have a hold of my luggage. Like, that's my stuff.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure people were a lot
Yeah.
more trusting in the 70s.
That's why you had so many
Because they're
serial killers
stupid.
back then.
Oh, yeah. I
I
see
mean,
that.
yeah, that was
Yeah.
the same time when they're like, "Yeah, you can let your children go with strangers."
Mhm.
Yeah, your kid could just be out all day, and then you wouldn't know anything was wrong until they didn't come home.
Also, this isn't the 70s. This is 1984, I think.
Oh, okay. Fine. Orwellian.
Still
it's
bad.
fine.
I'm gonna say still bad.
Yeah, still bad. Yeah, I think that basically my understanding without looking it up is that the two, the couple, at the beginning, basically they are part of the loose ends that Alan Moore had to pick up from the last writer. It's like, nah, I don't really care about these people. gotta write them out. Maybe that's my best
did
guess.
He even write them out? I mean, like, I'm fine with that, whatever, because that is a weird thing to end on for your issue run, is two characters hooking up. But like, I don't think, did he actually write them out?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think the story was, hey, you're supposed to meet me, and then somebody else met him. And then he was like, oh yeah, I forgot that there was...
Yeah, I mean, maybe he's saving them for later. Maybe that's the easiest way to write them out, is to not write them out and just be like.
I mean, all I needed was a panel of them seeing, like, the FBI or whoever they are, I can't remember now, the government force,
Sunderland,
like, and being like, oh man, yes, Sunderland, being like, oh man, don't want to get involved in this, and then that's it. But
Yeah. Also, am I wrong that they hooked up after crashing their car?
Yeah, that's what it looked
oh yeah, I forgot, because all their windows are like ruined.
Yep.
Like,
She
how
says,
romantic.
we were stuck here together in this car, and it was really warm out. It's a swamp.
No, it was cold.
Oh, I thought you said it was warm.
No, I was making a joke. It was cold.
Yeah, like it's
And they
that's like the typical joke is that, yeah, like you get. But yeah, it's definitely just a car wreck in a swamp, which I can't imagine. Like gets you just like raring to go.
Very Resident
Yeah.
Evil 7.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, yeah, it's like
So-
a bunch of people just walking through a swamp. I've never been, like, maybe it's just like, I've never seen, like, a for real swamp, but I've also never been gripped by the need to go out and just walk in a swamp.
Well, you've
It's
never
just
had a
weird.
friend turn into a swamp thing.
Yeah, but still, though, I feel like that's the end of the friendship. Is like, if I have to go out to a swamp to see you, like, that's just.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll get to that, because I have some things to say about that relationship.
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry.
I
I'm sorry. Jake just said his friend would turn into a swamp thing, and he'd say, "We're done being friends."
Because of the swamp.
Like, if you cannot be in the swamp, that's fine. But, like, if I have to go
But-
to a swamp.
But he
To
turned
hang
into
out?
a swamp thing. It's not his fault.
I think, wasn't he trying to make the more general statement that if you live near a swamp or force him to be near a swamp, you're not friends with him anymore?
Like, I'm just not about the swamp life.
Okay.
You just have to visit the swamp life. How much are you visiting your friends, really?
Now, not very often. I guess I could be friends with somebody with a swamp now, but like,
Yeah, what if they have? Maybe they have good internet
You can
connection
overlook
in
the
the swamp.
differences.
Yeah.
but like it's if I like let's say like we're going out for like to hang out, go see a movie. Like if you bring the swamp with you, that's also a problem. Like if you can't hang out without like smelling like a swamp, then there's a problem.
Gotcha.
Man, I do now need like a Chip Zdarsky written Swamp Thing that's like a comedy book, and like they just like try to take him to the movies, and it's like horrible because nobody can see past all his foliage.
Okay, actually, one of the things that came up when I was reading this is the design for the Swamp Thing is, well, it isn't, but I've read a comic that's probably, what's the word, a homage?
An homage.
Homage,
yes.
yeah.
Homage
Spelled with
to
an
the
H,
Swamp
though.
Thing's design in like the face,
Oh.
like that kind of face he has.
Mm-hmm.
So it's by Casey Green, Graveyard Keeper, I think it is. It's a comedy one,
Oh.
but like the main character looks like a skeleton version of the Swamp Thing, and he has to deal with hell and everything. It's very cute and
Wait.
Also,
A comic book, right? I got a video game.
oh yeah, he made it. No, it's a web comic, so you can probably read it online.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, Casey Green, anything by him is great though.